listening to Tales of the Forsaken, a live play fake board game by Noble Jester Productions.
Somehow I knew that all too familiar dread. The pain of seeing Heartfang again was almost a relief. Pain I can handle, pain I'm used to.
So Verboden, you are at the peak of this mountain with Amp and Munt. Yindra just left. Heartfang fled when Yindra arrived. You had your conversation with her, and you're still just standing there. You're in dragon form. Amp and Munt are there. Munt has gone over to what little remains of that altar and is trying to find any sort of remains of Krim, but there's really not anything. She was pretty well turned to ash by Heartfang's fire, and with Yindra smashing into the altar, it's just scattered and there's really nothing there, but he's kind of digging around in it anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks. I'm gonna walk forward, still in my dragon form, and go towards the altar. I'm actually just out of frustration. I'm gonna swing my tail and hit one of those like dragon stones and knock it over as I'm walking up there.
Okay.
After that thing, I'm gonna just transform back into my regular orc form, and then walk up to Moot and just kind of kneel down and put a hand on his shoulder.
Okay. He's kind of breathing heavily, and he looks up at you, and he has tears coming down his face, and he says, I didn't even know her that long, but she was brave and she was kind. She did not deserve this.
No, she didn't deserve any of this, Moot. Ah, man.
He looks at you and he says, was that truly Heartfang?
Yeah, in all of his splendor.
It's hard to believe that he could have survived, but also that everything that's told about him is so wrong.
I'm sorry you're finding out this way. I know it's tough because you've told me of just your whole life and the importance of this, and I was trying to clue you in and let you know what they were like, but I didn't even know that he was still alive. I'm as shocked as you are with that.
What he said about the prophecy, it can't be true.
I'm sorry, Moont. I was kind of like speechless in the moment. Just obviously we've had the loss of Krim, but now really even for him, like that's just like almost like his own death, you know, like a part of him that is dying.
Yeah, he's wrapped his entire life around this concept of carrying on these stories and tales and this prophecy as central to everything for his people, and to find out that it was created and carefully, passed down for the purpose of
manipulation.
Yeah.
Moont, I know you've shared your faith with me, and I appreciate the hope you've had, and even though I didn't believe in the prophecy, even just hearing just the strength of your beliefs, it helped me in finding some strength of my own and trying to fight against all these people who just keep hurting everybody else. So I can't imagine the loss you're having, but think about what you telling this story can do for so many more.
He sits there for a moment. My people have gone from one slavery to another, it seems, thinking that we would find hope and freedom and meaning here, and it's all been a lie. He looks over at you and he kind of grabs onto probably your hand or something, and he looks up at you and he says, do you think it's possible for us to turn this for good and find a way for freedom still, even in the midst of all this?
I kind of get down closer to him and kind of take a hand and put it underneath like each of his forearms, kind of like just hold him kind of secure there. Won't I believe it with every part of my being? I'm tired of it. We can make a change.
This place is called the Haven. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps we have been guided here for a reason. Perhaps Rin has seen my people's plight, and we are here to make a change and bring freedom. Perhaps, and he puts one hand down kind of into the ashes that is, that are on the ground that he's kneeling in, and he picks up a handful of them. Perhaps she did not die for no reason, but rather, perhaps she is a martyr. The first death, and perhaps the one that will open my people's eyes. And you can see that he's kind of starting to get back into a little bit of a rhythm. When he has shared his beliefs and shared these stories and things, he always speaks kind of with this rhythmic way of telling these tales and things, and it's starting to kind of pick back up in his voice, which, religious fervor may or may not be a good thing here, but...
Right, I get it. Well, that's a story I can get behind and I can share as well.
He takes a handful of the ashes and stands up and lets them drift away. He says, Crimbotriana, your death will not be in vain. I will make sure of it. Then he just kind of drops his head, and it looks like he's struggling with emotions or perhaps praying, something of that sort.
Mm-hmm. As he's doing that, I'm going to look up and find Amp. Is he close by, or what's he doing right now?
Yeah, he's standing a few paces away, watching the two of you, and he kind of has his arms halfway up, like almost in a defensive stance, but not quite.
Sure. So I look over and, Amp, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Thanks for jumping in the way you did. That was close. I'm glad you're okay. Can I just have a moment to speak with you off to the side here?
He gives you kind of a little bit of a half smile and says, a moment, yes. We need to move quickly, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I walk over and kind of get close to him? Not like in a threatening way, but just, trying to kind of move in close. Couldn't help but notice that display of magic you did there with Heartfang. It almost appeared that you kind of ushered the way for Yindra.
You see clearly.
Okay, can we talk about it a little bit?
I was truthful with you before, but I left out some details. When I was discovered by the spirited mind, they were prepared to perform tests on me, use whatever they had to discover my abilities, and it was Yindra who brought me out. She rescued me and gave me a choice. Do you know of the Portal Guardians?
I do, actually.
Well, for Yindra, this is a matter of great importance, and she has tasked me with finding the open portal that appears to exist somewhere down here in the Haven, and protecting it. In return, I was given the freedom of myself and my family. Her protection.
So has she tasked you with becoming the Portal Guardian? Am I clear on that?
Yes. It is a position, a title of sorts, but it is also a portion of Yindra's power that has been granted to me and flows through me in order to protect these portals.
I see. And you're prepared to take on this role indefinitely?
If it means the protection of our world and my child's freedom, yes.
Okay, well, I appreciate you sharing that. I can understand why you didn't originally. Would have been nice to know a little more. I'm assuming you picked a little bit up there with Yindra and I have a bit of a past. Was that new information, or were you aware already?
It was new information, but I must share that there is a element of connection to Yindra in my powers, and I was able to glean some emotion, brief memories from that connection.
I see. Well, I guess I need to ask, is that your only intent in all this? Just to do her bidding and fill some shoes, protect your family?
Is there something else you would ask of me?
Well, you've seen kind of behind the scenes a little bit of the powers in Rillian. You've seen Hardfang, who I shared about with you, and you've also experienced the rest of Rillian with Yindra's rule and these other divine powers. If you could protect more than just your family, does that hold any value to you, or do you not care?
Speak plainly about what you would like from me. I have a job here. I don't believe that I have suggested that I do not care about my people.
Well, let me break it down. Would you help me defeat Hardfang and his allies?
You know, when I first took this job, Yindra did not know, or at least I do not believe she knew about Hardfang, but she knew about some of the situation here. She tasked me with finding this portal, and if that meant allying myself with these dragons and their leadership, I was given free rein to do so. But having seen what is happening here, knowing at least some about Hardfang, I cannot imagine that this portal that has been opened is not, at least in some ways, connected to these dragons and what they are doing. So yes, I believe not only is the plight of my people something that I do care about, but I think my mission is aligned with those goals.
Did she give you any information as to where this portal might lead to?
Well, you say you are familiar with the Portal Guardians, so I assume you at least have some knowledge of the fact that Rillian is very thin for some reason. Portals to other worlds are easy to create, easy to form, and hard to close. I do not know where this one specifically leads, but it does not have the same aura as some of the others. There are portals that lead to places of great evil, places of fire, places of terror. This one doesn't feel the same. I am connected to it in some ways. I can tell you that it is somewhere in that direction, and he points to the south. But I'm not clear exactly where it is.
Interesting. Would you believe if I told you I've helped close two of these portals to some of those terror places you mentioned, and kind of indirectly helped close a third? So, yeah, definitely been a part of that. So, I'm glad to hear that this one is not, hopefully not the same type as that. I will say, too, kind of pause for a second, with Yindra, obviously I helped her move into this position of power that she's in, and we had what I believe to be a deep love for each other at one time. But with where I might be going and some of the decisions I'm making after Hardfang hopefully is dealt with, there may come a time that I may ask you to go directly against what he would probably believe to be in the best interest of Yindra, but I do believe would be in the best interest of Rillian. Is that something you're prepared to agree to?
Once I help deal with whatever is causing this rift on our side, and then take my place at the portal, that will be my focus. Anything you do on this side, as long as you do not open any portals or try to disturb my work, I don't care. As for helping you, if you decide to go against Yindra, I will probably not.
I appreciate your honesty. Do I feel like he's being honest?
You can roll for that if you'd like.
I would like to roll an influence check on that.
I think you're quickly finding that people have not been very honest with you. So.
No, they have not. That is a 2.
Okay. He got a 0. So, that's a success. You do feel that he is being honest with you. Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's trying to hide anything at this point.
Cool. That's kind of the vibe I was getting too, because I feel like, his intent has always seemed pretty clear. Granted, there's portions that he left out, but, the fact that he's trying to protect his family, and this all makes sense with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He sighs and looks over at Munt, and then he just kind of shakes his head and says, "This was not a very successful trip. I am extremely worried about my family. If you do not have any more questions, I think we should move quickly."
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to get back to Beacon of Hope quickly. Hopefully we can beat them there. If I don't even know if they're headed that way, and get our people out of there, and I might be able to find some allies. I don't know, but it's at least worth a shot.
He nods. Beacon of Hope. What a stupid name.
Yeah. I'm sure the guy that came up with the prophecy came up with that too.
They really are laying it on thick.
Yeah. Well, it's worked so far, seems like.
Well, my people have been through a lot. Hope is infectious when you have had none for a very long time.
All right, well, Moont, if you're ready to go, I feel like maybe we could fly back.
Munt stands up and he kind of nods back down at the ground and then walks over. Fly back?
Yeah, in case you didn't notice, I'm a dragon. I feel like that's the quickest way to get back there. It'll be a little weird. I gotta carry you.
Amp just kind of sighs and shrugs, but Munt kind of shakes his head and says, "I cannot say that I have ever even imagined that I would be carried by a dragon."
Well, there's a first time for everything, and it's really not that special.
Of course. Let's go.
All right. So I'll transform and then kind of move forward and pick them both up, and then kind of do like one last circle around, kind of seeing the altar and our Crim past, and then fly back towards Beacon of Hope.
Yeah, you fly back. I don't know if you're trying to stay in any way stealthy or if you're just going as fast as you possibly can.
Definitely fast, but remembering where we left that other group that came up with us like a portion of the way, I want to make sure I don't fly like directly over them. So that would be the point I'd try to avoid, and then fly back quickly to a point probably outside the city. I'm not gonna like fly right into it. I feel like that would potentially cause issues. So land somewhere where we're hopefully out of sight, and then go the rest of the way on foot.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to pretty successfully, at least you feel successfully, avoid that group, make your way back close to the city, land, transform back. Let's go ahead and do a stealth check.
Okay. You
can just roll for the group to see if you can, to see how you are able to enter into the city.
That's a 1.
Okay. You gonna do anything with that number or leave it as a 1?
Hang on. Is this stealth covering like our flight in, but also the walk in as well?
Just the entrance into the city.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And making your way up to the palace.
Got it. Okay.
So not as difficult as if I had, made you roll for flying in, but
sure. Yep. Trying to think if any aspects would help, and if I want to spend a fate point right now, because I feel like I ran out of fate points really quick in that last fight, and it's concerning thinking about because I don't know what's coming. Go ahead and leave it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you make your way through, through the city to the palace, and people are seeing you. It's not like you're stealthing your way from building to building or anything.
Right.
But you feel like you're keeping a decently low profile until you begin to walk up the steps to the palace itself. And you see people specifically begin to key in on you, pointing some whispers. And then you see a couple of guards kind of, you're walking up the steps to this palace, and a couple of guards up at the top go inside.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of we won't act like we're trying to move quickly. So if I notice people who are very obviously, looking at me talking about it, I'll just kind of do the casual, put one hand up and wave, I recognize that you're seeing me, and just kind of act like I'm supposed to be there.
Okay. As you get to the top of these steps, the doors open, and Eldarin is standing there.
Okay.
He crosses his arms, and he looks at you, and he says, Verboden!
Hey, we're back, Eldarin. Is this you here to welcome me?
For now, you're back suspiciously soon, and lacking most of the people that went along with you.
Oh, yeah, no, we actually were able to take care of this threat, this monster that popped up, and Sieve and Hestian decided to stick around and participate in some worship of Heartfang, and one from our group, Krim, she decided to stay as well, being a follower of Heartfang, and they said they'd be back in here within the next few hours or so.
Okay. I am going to make you roll for this.
Oh, sure.
Because he is actively suspicious and is going to be rolling to try to figure out if you're telling the truth or not.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's going to roll influence. You probably need to roll, bluff, I guess.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a different skill, huh?
Yep.
I don't have that this season. That's a bummer.
I think you took it last season.
I did.
And I don't know that we ever used it.
I don't think I ever did.
You were very honest last season.
I was. And go figure, in this one, I'm lying to everybody.
Well, you've been pretty honest so far.
True.
It's really just
it's a very
along.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just one kind of very big lie. Of course, I rolled a -3.
Okay.
That's bad. What did he roll?
He rolled a 4.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I gotta go for this. I'm gonna spend a fate point. Can I invoke? I said I'm the mighty one. Just maybe just a little bit of the fact that I've said that and stepped in that role.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna re-roll. So basically, I've got the single chance of rolling a 4.
Okay.
Got a 1.
All right. Well, he still succeeds.
He does, yeah.
But not by as much.
Sure.
He looks like he doesn't believe you in this moment, and he takes a couple of steps towards you, down the steps towards you till he's pretty close, and he says, "So you were able to take care of the problem that easily, huh?"
Yeah, it was some smoky fire creature like you're all were talking about, and as we were approaching it was there, and I was able to dispatch it, and I said I'm the mighty one, and I hope I've showed you all that.
It was just there already. Nobody had to initiate any worship of Heartfang.
No, I was surprised. I was expecting to have to wait around a bit, but there it was.
And Sieve stayed behind to worship Heartfang with your friend Krim.
Yeah, he asked my party who was a follower, and she stepped in and said she was, so he joined, or asked to have her join him and stay behind.
He takes another step closer towards you, and he's right up in your face now.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of looks at you and he says, "You just had no problem with your friend there being sacrificed to Heartfang?"
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying. Do I have any weapons on me?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
Okay.
You'd probably have a shotgun. You'd probably have kind of the normal weapons that you were carrying.
Okay, so I need to lay the land here. Are we in a hall? Are we out in the open? Where are we?
You're out in the open. So this,
Jeez.
palace is kind of set up in the middle of the city. It's on, kind of an elevation. And like I had said, it's been crafted to look like a mountain. And there's a dragon essentially curled around this mountain that's been, not a real dragon, but
Right.
it's been carved into it. And the open mouth at the very top of the mountain is the entrance into the palace, and then kind of the palace goes down from there.
Mm-hmm.
And these steps that have been carved into the side of, it's not a huge mountain, but it's building shaped,
Yeah.
building sized. You're up at the top of these steps, so there are people around in the city. People have started to kind of gather. You have a little bit of a reputation already. This Mighty One thing has started to be known a little bit. And yeah, so this is going to be a fairly public confrontation if it happens right here.
Shoot, yeah. Ooh.
Which may not be a bad thing.
Sure, no, I'm weighing things here. I'm weighing either just straight up attacking him or using the threat of an attack. Alright, I'm just going for it. I'm gonna... oh, man. I'm gonna pull out my shotgun and try to shoot him in the face.
Alright. Yeah, so you pull your shotgun and, yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
Okay. Alright, that's a 2.
Alright, you got a 4.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go with it.
Alright, so you pull out your shotgun and you pull the trigger. His hand is already moving. He grabs the side of the shotgun and pushes it over to the side, and the blast goes off kind of next to his head. And this smile just crosses over his face. He says, "I've been waiting for this for a long time." And he transforms.
Jeez. Oh, man. Okay.
So, I mean, he's holding onto this shotgun and then suddenly grows to large red dragon size. He's probably about the same size as Hestian.
Okay.
You know, maybe 3/4 of your size, fully grown. But you're an orc.
Right.
And he's a dragon.
Okay.
And he's going to attack you.
Okay.
Not a great roll, though.
Okay.
He got a 3.
Okay, I'm gonna defend with Zeke here. Oh yeah, it's a 5.
All right. So he transforms and, you know, he lets go of the shotgun and just comes at you with his claws. How do you avoid that since you succeeded?
Yeah, I would say, just knowing how dragons fight, I kind of slip down, scoot back, down on the steps, and his claws just kind of like swipe over the top of me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd say Amp and Moont are a few steps behind you down the steps. So I'm going to give you a chance to react in this moment. So you'll have a turn. He'll probably have another turn, and then I'll have them do something.
Okay. So I think what I would do is, I'm going to transform as quickly as I can.
Okay.
And then as I'm doing that, I'm going to shout at Moont to go find Cloud Chaser, ask around, basically like find a man in Cloud Chaser, tell him what's happened, and then yell at Amp, find Dror, get the others out.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So you transform, you yell that to them. I'm going to, say that's all kind of free.
As it's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can make an attack if you want.
Yeah, so I'm going to lunge back up at him, claws out, almost like, not trying to slash at him, but like stab into him.
Okay.
That's an 8.
All right, he got a 7. So
okay.
You succeed. I guess we didn't set any aspects here.
Okay.
We probably should do that. Scene-wise, I'm going to say drawing a crowd is an aspect. Open space, aside from the doors a few steps up from him, you're kind of up on the top of a building almost. There's plenty of open space around you if it becomes an aerial battle or something.
Yep. I got one potentially. This is the same one where we had kind of a wrestling fighting type match centuries ago, correct?
Correct.
So how about not my first rodeo?
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I'm good with that.
So I think with that, I'm actually going to spend a fate point and invoke that I've fought him and just trying to overcome him. I've already whooped him before, so that'll be should be 3 shifts then.
Okay, got it.
So I'm down to 1 fate point.
Well, you may as well use them.
Yeah.
All right. He is going to, you slam your claws into him and he kind of roars in pain, and he's going to attempt to just body you back down the stairs.
Okay.
All right, that was a 2.
A That's a 7.
So you've stabbed your claws into him, and he tries to almost shove, you back, and your claws just pierce even further into him. And there's a little bit of like a whimper that comes out of his mouth, and I mean, you just kind of hold him down. And Amp and Moont rush past the two of you and into the doors. Everybody around, I mean, there are some guards and things, but everybody around is just stepping back in awe of 2 dragons fighting in the middle of this city. That was his turn. You're back up.
Okay.
You definitely succeeded with style in that.
Right.
So, you have a boost. You can use that just to add pluses, or
Sure.
you could use it in this situation probably to do a little more than maybe you normally would be able to.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, potentially how I might want to, alter this with him or just try to take him out. I think I want to so I'm going to try to attack him again, but specifically, so I've got right now both sets of claws are dug into him. I'm going to keep my left hand in him. I'm going to pull the right one out, and I'm going to reach and try to swipe at the undersection, that soft part, where the wing attaches the body, and I'm just trying to gouge through that.
So not trying to rip his wing off or anything, but trying to get, deep into that kind of softer portion.
Yeah, well, and potentially too of because that's where the wing connects, I'm trying to really damage that, where potentially he may not be able to fly if I'm able to really get up in there. I'm rolling pretty good tonight. I like it.
He's rolling terribly, so...
Yeah, he had it coming. So that is a 8 total.
All right, you got a 5.
Oh, and I also have a boost, so...
Yeah,
I'm going to bump that up to 10.
all right. And, I mean, you succeed with style there, so... Yeah, I'd say you hold him down and you just rake along his side, and you can see his wing, his, shoulder muscle, just everything is ripping and tearing. And there was a whimper that came out of his mouth. This time it's almost a scream. He is not having a good day with that.
Okay.
He goes limp in your claws, and he says, Wait, Verboden, I yield, please.
Oh, you would do this, okay.
There are a lot of people watching you right now.
I know, this
could potentially set stage for how you deal with this entire situation.
No, I know. Part of me just wants to, just murder him in front of everybody. So I will kind of pull my talons out of him, and I'm going to get behind him and reach around, kind of pull him up towards facing the crowd. I'm going to whisper into his ear, tell him the truth.
He's kind of whimpering at this point, but he speaks softly, hoping that just you will hear it. And he says, What truth? You don't have any idea the situation that's going on here.
No, if you tell him the prophecy is a lie, and you tell him you set me up to die, and you killed my dragonkin friend.
I can't do that. You're just gonna get me killed. Harfang will murder me.
Not if I murder him first.
That's not possible.
You don't know what I'm capable of. You look out there and you tell him right now.
I can't.
I'm gonna raise up my right talon. I'm just gonna stab it down into the top of his shoulder blade on his right side.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of screams out a little bit, and then he says, Okay. What do you want me to say?
I'm not asking you to tell my story, just tell him the truth.
He shouts out, It's all a fake!
Tell him the prophecy is a lie made up by Harfang.
Prophecy it's not real. It's a lie. We made it up.
Tell them they are still prisoners.
You're all still prisoners. Prisoners to Heart Fang.
So I kind of like let him go at that point, and I'm going to flap up the air kind of a little bit.
Okay. He kind of falls to his knees a little bit, but then tumbles down a couple of the stairs and just lays there in a heap.
I'm going to yell out to whoever's around. And what was his role again? He is the...
He is Eldarin the Courageous.
Love
He
it.
is the heir of the Flame of Rin.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to fly up. Before you, the Courageous. Out of his mouth you hear what they have done. The prophecy is a lie. I am here to end it. You go and you tell everyone you can find. It is over. Tell them what you witnessed today. I am sparing his life because I am mighty.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening as we continue to make our way through this extremely exciting epic of Verboden against the Dragons. How you feeling right now, Brett?
Really nervous because I know there's a lot of dragons here. So,
One at a time.
Yeah, I guess one at a time, but I'm hoping to start a rebellion?
There you go.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
So yeah, if you're enjoying this, we ask that you please go rate us places. That helps us with finding other people who are into storytelling and what we're trying to put together here. So we appreciate you listening.